Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Strong Draws. My name is Brett Strong, and today I'm going to try something different. I've been wanting to do tutorials now for a while to kind of show you guys breakdowns and kind of the processes I do to draw stuff. And I have had a couple requests to maybe put out some tutorial videos to kind of show you how I do what I do. So today I thought we'd start real simple with the human head. Now, this is basic drawing 101 kind of stuff. So if you're intermediate or advanced, this is just going to be kind of recap. And I don't really have anything really planned, I guess. As I draw, I will talk and kind of express what I'm doing as I do it. So this is just going to kind of come out the thought as kind of the thought processes go through kind of what I would go through in my head as I'm drawing something. So again, as I said, we're going to start with the human head here. And as you can see, I didn't draw this head. I got this off the internet just to kind of cut down some time and show you just the basic structure of the head. So your average human head, now this translates to men and women at this point, and this is just what I guess you would call perfect anatomy. So to start that way, basically what you have is every head is 5 eyes side to side. So basically, if you were going to take the size of this eye here, there'd be one here, and one here. So it's 5 eyes across is your average human head. Now if you take that eye, turn it sideways, that's roughly the length of your nose. And for the size of your mouth, the corners of your mouth here, let's see if I can do this, is going to roughly line up with the center of your eyes. So when you're lining up or trying to figure out what to do as far as proportions, this is just basic stuff. And then to go from there, from your nose to your upper lip is generally about a half an eye length. And then the width of your chin, if you go from the corner of your nose is your nose here, go 45-degree angle down either side, that's going to be your chin, the width of your chin basically. And that's kind of your basic breakdown. Your ears will line up right above your eyes here. So that's just your basic human proportions of the human head. If you remember this stuff, I want to make sure I'm on the right layer. Yes. If you remember this stuff, it is pretty simple to break down. Now you don't have to do this every time. Once you get a little more used to it, you won't have to think about this quite as hard. But this always needs to be running through your head while you're working. So let's get rid of that. And I am on the wrong layer. Look at that. I thought I was on the other layer. So let's back up here. There we go. Oh, look, I did that earlier. Okay. So when drawing the head, basically it helps to look at or know kind of the structure of the skull. Because basically what you have, let's make sure I'm on the right layer here now, is you have a ball here, which is the top part of your skull. I'll move this up so you can see what I'm doing here. And then it kind of comes down into a trapezoid. I guess I don't know what shape this would be. Here. And that's your bait. And if you draw over top of this, I'll turn this off. Actually, we'll leave it on. We'll just turn down the opacity a bit on it here so I can draw over top of it. If you draw on top of this, This is basically what your skull is doing underneath your head here, underneath the skin and whatnot. You got some teeth. You got your eye sockets. What color are those? And that's basically what that's how your skull is inside your head. That's how everything fits together. Now the reason it helps to know kind of this structure is because, like with these here, the reason when you draw a skull and color these in black is because that's recessed into your head and your eyeballs sit in there. And that's important to know because whenever you're drawing, you want to make sure that your eyes always kind of appear to be setting inward a little bit. And when you're doing if you're doing something like an older person or zombies or monsters, the further you sink that in and pronounce the brow, the kind of creepier and more mean it will look. So, like I said, this is just the basic stuff you need to think about. This is something that runs through my head, basically, like I said, as I am drawing something. So, we'll get to drawing some heads here, and I'm going to drop down my brush size a little bit. So when you want to start constructing a head, it helps to think about the skull underneath. So you always start with the ball, or at least I do. Now again, this is how I do things. This is not the only way it can be done, but I think it's a good starting point for most people. And so I'm not here, this is just kind of the information. I'm not here to teach you guys how to draw like me, but to have an understanding of how this stuff works a little bit. So if you want to start with the head, you start with the ball here, and you get this trapezoid, whatever shape this thing is. Then your neck is, you got to think of the neck as a cylinder. Also part of the process that you need to always think of is that this stuff isn't two-dimensional. It's got mass. And so it's not flat. Something's always round or square. It's never flat. So always keep that in mind when you're drawing stuff. All right. And so after we get these all in here, if we're doing straight on, we'll divide the head in half this way. And then I'll put this line here. Now that's your upper brow and where your ears line up are right here. So your eyes are going to sit right underneath this line. Now again, keep in mind your head's about 5 eyes across, so you want to that's where you can kind of gauge how far apart they're going to be and how far in from each side they're going to be. And now, with the nose, again, remember it's about an eye length long, so we'll come down, add these in. Oh, and another thing I kind of forgot to mention is your nose here. The ending of your nose is going to line up with the inside of your eyes here like that. So when you draw the nose, only make it as wide as your eyes are apart. So your nose is one eye in width as well. So we come down a half an eye and we put the mouth in. A little hint of a lip there. And there you go, you got your basic head. Now if you want to, once you go in and start detailing this, we'll just kind of take my eraser and lightly erase it as if I was using a kneaded eraser. Even though I am working digitally, I'm going to try and do these videos as close to the traditional process as possible. So once you get this basic structure, and that's when you can go in and start detailing. Now you can draw how you express these things from here is kind of up to personal taste. Nope, I want to zoom out. So it's really your call on how you do this, but the way I would do it from here, I generally always start with the eyes, because that is what people are going to generally look at. Is when you see a human face, you generally are drawn towards the eyes, so you want to make sure you get those right. Now eyebrows, again, they're all different shapes and sizes of eyebrows, so you can kind of do what you want there along with the nose. You know, this is just kind of, again, this is just standard basic human proportion, and you know, you can stretch these, you can make the eyes further apart, you can make them closer together, a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, but just for the purpose of this video, this is just general basic human anatomy. So remember, your mouth is about the width of your eyes, the corners of your mouth goes to about the corner of your eyes there, or the center of your eyes, sorry. Show a hint of the lip there. You come down. Remember, your chin is roughly 45-degree angle here. Come up. Get your neck in there. A little bit of musculature of the neck. And your ears. Now that's just your basic straight-on headshot. And ironically enough, one of the hardest things to get right. Mainly because it's really hard to draw it symmetrically. So you ask anybody who's been drawing for a while, the hardest angle to draw is actually this angle here, because it is so hard to get stuff looking symmetrical. So there's your basic straight-on human headshot. Now, if you want to turn it sideways, if you want to do profile, you take the same basic structure, but you just do it from a different angle. So you start with the circle again for the big part of the skull. Come straight down, back a little bit, up, and there's your jawline. So basically I'm taking the shape that I made here and just turning it sideways, which is this kind of shape here. Then at the back of your jaw, your ear will hinge. And this part of the head here is where most people make their mistake when drawing profiles. Most people don't realize, unless you've really kind of looked at it, about just how much of the back of your head is actually there. People tend to come to only about here for some reason. But you guys gotta think your skull goes, again, this is kind of what I was talking about. It has it's mass, it's not flat. It comes really far back like this here. And your neck will come down. Your neck will come down. Okay. Remember, it's a cylinder, so remember, think of it going all the way around like this. So get rid of those. And now your eye line here, your brow line. You can just do a triangle for the nose when you're roughing this in. Your mouth, come out for the brow, come up to meet your head here, and remember, you got that eye socket, so your eye's going to sit back in your head a little bit here. Alright, so we'll erase that down a bit. Like I said, just if I was using a kneadable eraser, you can go a little bit lighter. We'll take the brush, we'll just kind of start roughing this stuff back in, or finishing this kind of up a bit here. So your brow comes around, the back of your head here. Your nose will come out. Now men's noses are generally pretty square and even. So you don't want to tilt them up too much. I mean, you could add, let me shrink my eraser here. You could bring it up just a little bit if you wanted. You don't have to. The thing with drawing faces is that there are no two that are the same, so you get to have a little bit of fun with this. As long as you get the proportions right, there is no real kind of right or wrong as to what goes where. So we'll just make a little indentation for the lips here, come around to the chin, kind of round it up to the jaw here. Little line for the mouth. Got the neck coming down. Get your ear in there. Add your nostril, your nose, and your eye. Now your eye from the side is pretty much just a triangle, kind of set at an angle. So, and then your eyebrow goes in here like this. Fix the neck here. Actually, you can even add a bit more of the head in the back here. Add in some detail to the ear. Excuse me. Alright. And then I always add this little line because that's where your skull kind of is, and it's just a reference point for me for later. And there you go. There's your head. There's the male human head in profile. So these are two very basic shots, and they're very simplified down. You can add all kinds of detail and shading and stuff. And actually, if real quick, I guess we can. I don't want to make these videos too long, but if you just wanted to add some quick shading, like if the light was coming in from this side. Then, your nose would kind of cast a shadow on itself here. Cover all this back up in here. The nose is going to throw a cast shadow over your lip here. The upper lip would be in shadow. The side of the face here is going to be all in shadow. Mouth's going to kind of cast a shadow around your chin a bit here. Now this, and probably all under here would be in shadow as well. And since your cheek is rounded, it's going to round up into your, to where your eye is there. And add a bit of a shadow under the lip here. Now this is a pretty basic shading. Something I'll probably cover a little bit more in later videos. So this is just kind of a basic general idea of what's going to be get shadows thrown on it. Alright, so there's the male head. So now we'll kind of cover the female head. Again, it's all basically the same proportions and principles. But what you need to remember is that most women tend to have more peeling angles, I guess, softer angles, not quite so sharp and defined. Not all women. This is just, again, you bring that up a bit. Just basic general rules of drawing the human head. Alright, so we got the head roughed in there. The neck's actually probably a little wide for a female, so we'll bring that in a bit. There we go. All right. And then, depending on how you want to do it, sometimes I'll throw an eye, just do circles for eyes, and I'll explain kind of the reason I do that, kind of where I think the nose is going to be, and then the mouth. Now it doesn't look like a woman just yet. But at this point, whenever you're drawing, you just want to worry about your proportions and make sure everything's in place. So I'll grab brush again here, and we'll just start roughing it, or kind of trying to figure out where this is all going to go. Now it is probably, I know it's said and it's probably really true, is that drawing heads, women are easier to have an easier time drawing women, and men have an easier time drawing men. And that is true. As you can see, and I think it comes to that subtlety. This probably won't end up being the prettiest girl I've ever drawn, but I'm trying to do it really quick just to give you guys a basic idea. Now with women, for the nose, you can get away with just doing kind of 2 dots like this, or you could come up and put that in, but I don't think it needs to be there, especially when it's drawing so small with a big brush. And women's mouths tend to be a little more shapely than men's. And I'll kind of, after this, I'll kind of break down each part of the head just a little bit more as well. Women don't generally have quite as big a chin as men, or as broad, so come in here. Come around here. Get the ear in there. It's a big ear. Ear in there. Ear in there. Women generally have a thinner neck than men. And then this comes down. Got the collarbone. Alright, again, probably not my most pretty woman I've ever drawn, but actually we'll bring the nose up a little bit. There we go. That's the fun part of digital, is you can kind of tweak and adjust this stuff a little bit easier than you can in pencil. But actually her mouth could come up just a bit more as well. There we go. So again, it's all the same basic proportions of a man and woman. Is you got the 5 eyes, the 1 eye, the half eye, lines up with the edges of the mouth, 45-degree angle, and your mouth is about 1 eye wide, or about, what is it, 9.5 wide, I believe. It's been a long time since I've gone back and studied all this stuff, so this is kind of a refresher for me as well. So, getting up there in time, we'll do a quick, so we've done the head and profile, we've done it in straight on. The only real difference, here I'll do a profile of a woman real quick. The only real difference between a male profile and a female profile is the nose and the lips, basically. Okay, so again, got the brow line. Get this where I want it. Got the eye line. Triangle for the nose. Bring the brow out a little bit. The lips, the chin, the jaw, and the eye. Alright, so we'll erase this down. Do a little bit more, maybe. There we go. So grab my brush. Now women don't have quite the pronounced hard brows men, so you want to kind of make it a little bit softer. And like I said, with a man you don't want to bring the nose up. With a woman you kind of want to turn the nose up at least a little bit more than you would with a man. Drop my eraser down. Whoop. And now with women, generally speaking, their upper lip is a little more full and pronounced than a man's, so it will stick out a little bit further there. Their chins aren't quite so big and defined, and their jaw lines tend to be a little bit softer. And actually, she's got a rather big nose, so we'll fix that here. head up a little bit more. Again, just another little line there. The nose angles up a bit, and again, it's just a triangle basically for the eye. Just make sure you don't forget to set it back into the head a little bit. You can add some eyelashes there if you want. Upper lip, lower lip. Throw an ear in there. Get the neck in there. And there you go. You basically got a profile of a woman. Eye might be a little bit big, but that's kind of the basics right there. So the most interesting angle of the human head that most people tend to draw most often is a 3/4 angle. It's the most interesting because you get a little bit of foreshortening, and it's a little bit easier because you don't have to worry about symmetry. What a 3/4 head is again, you'll start with the circle for the skull. Come down across basically the same shape. However, instead of being symmetrical, which would be out like this, you're only going to draw it about half of it, I guess you could say. You get the ear in there. Head comes back around, and make sure you add in enough of the back head there. And then your neck will come down off of here into the cylinder. Now where you want to, again, you always keep thinking that there is mass to this, that it's not flat. So when you draw your center line of your head, this time it's going to be curved. And then your brow line is going to be curved around as well. Now again, something I kind of do to kind of as a reference point is I'll put this circle right here, which kind of represents the side of the head. Just because again, what it does is it makes sure I don't bring the eyes over to here. Instead, I kind of, again, it's more of a, I think it's an Andrew Loomis technique, I believe, if you look up his book, Drawing the Head in Human Figure. No, his is Figure Drawing for All It's Worth, which I think you can download a PDF for free at saveloomis.org. I'll have to double check on that. But you can find the book online for free right now because I don't believe it's in print anymore. And so you get the ear. Again, I'll put some eyes in just where they need to be, kind of where the nose is going to be, kind of where the mouth is going to be. Now, when you're drawing this, again, always think, and it sometimes will help, is if you draw these grid lines kind of coming across here, to keep reminding yourself that the head has mass to it. And you can do the same with the neck here. Because what we're doing as artists or storytellers or comic book artists, whatever kind of artist you are, the purpose of this is to try and keep in mind that you're trying to fool the viewer or the reader that what they're looking at is not a 2D image, that it's a real life figure. Okay, so we got the head here, kind of roughed in. Take my eraser again, kind of lighten it up a bit, maybe a little bit more. There we go. Now, the nose is more of a triangle shape, kind of like this, kind of like a pyramid a bit. So you need to always remember that the nose pops up off the face. So whenever you're drawing, this is a good way to block it in. Just like that. And then with your eye, kind of the same way. We'll go right here. Now since the head is at an angle, and your nose sticks out and your eye set back into your eye socket, this eye is going to drop in behind here. So you won't get to see nearly as much of this eye, which again, why I think a lot of people prefer to draw this angle, because you don't have to worry about this eye and this eye looking identical, because this eye here is hidden back behind the brow and the nose a little bit. So your brow is going to come out here, come up, meet the rest of your head, and come around like this. Now remember, we talked about the skull a little bit earlier. You have your cheekbone that comes out of off your skull. So if we're going to draw a skull under here, your skull is going to go like this, and there's a cheekbone in here. Let me grab my eraser here. And so when you come off of your brow, you're going to come out to your cheekbone and then down. And that's where it's going to meet your chin, which is kind of a square that pops, you know, if you draw a 3D square in here, or a rectangle in here, it's going to pop out kind of like that. And then that's going to come up to your jaw, to your ear. And again, since your head is turned at an angle, your mouth isn't going to be straight. It's actually going to wrap around with the rest of your head as well. So basically like that, where your lower lip is going to go. Then your eyebrows, which again need to follow the shape and the roundness of this foreshortening, because you got this head coming back and around in space like this. So everything's going to kind of follow that shape. It's going to come like this. Your neck going to come down. A little bit of ear. You got your eyebrow in there, and your eyebrow in there. We're going to add your eye. Actually, you can probably bring the brow off a little bit more here. Alright. So he looks kind of goofy, so we're going to take the eraser again. We're going to lighten this up. Just a bit, maybe just a bit more. Okay. And come back in with the pencil and kind of finish it up. Your cheekbone, down to your chin, around to your jaw, up to your brow here, around to the back of your head, which it helps if you do a smooth line. Eyes hidden back there behind the nose and back in the socket. This eye's kind of out front. Got your eyebrows. Got your eyes. Eyelids. Corner of the mouth. Ear. And so there you go. I should probably bring this up just a bit. So there you go. And that's the head in 3/4, and it kind of works no matter which way you flip it. You just gotta always remember that this eye here is going to sit back in that socket behind the nose. Got a little bit more time, I guess. I'm gonna try and keep this. Like I said, I don't want to go too long with these. But we'll go over a couple basic things real quick as far as drawing parts of the head. So this is the head all together. Things you need to remember, just little things, is when drawing like eyes, they call them, you know, naturally it's a ball. They're not just round though, they're spheres like this. So when you're drawing them in the eyelid's going to bend around this in both directions. Yeah, actually, let me take those away. Let me do this in red. Your eyelids are going to go around this ball like this. So that's actually where you get the shape of the eye. And if you're going to draw an eyelid, it's going to come up here like this. And if you draw a lower one, it's going to come here like that. Because it's all forming itself around that ball. It's, you know, it's not just going to go straight across like that. And then when you draw the eye in here, you got the iris, got the glare. This is where your eyelashes would hinge if you want to draw eyelashes on there. So I should have probably did those on different layers. Let's see if I can just grab this and pull it over here. Not really well, but you get the idea. So whenever you're drawing, let's make a new layer here. So whenever you're drawing the eye, no matter what angle you're having it at, you have to always remember to start with this sphere. Which you don't always have to draw the grid lines and stuff, obviously, but so if we're doing that 3/4 angle, and this was your eye here, going back into space, it's going to come more down like this, where the tear duct is going to be. This is going to come down, meet here. So then you got your eyelid up here. Your eyelid down here. So basically, to show an eye going back or forward in space is basically where on this sphere you're going to bend the eye around, I guess. And that also goes for the inside of the eye. Since this here is round, if you can see what I'm doing, this is round. So if you turn the eye like we have it here, say this is your eyebrow here, so you can kind of see what I'm going. It's going to change shape too. It's not going to be round. It's going to be an ellipse at this angle. And the iris is not going to, or is it iris, the pupil isn't going to be centered. It's going to be off to one side or the other. So if I shut this off, you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Let me get rid of this. So if I was going to draw the rest of this face, the nose would be like right here, and the other eye would be back in here, and then the brow. So you kind of see what I'm saying there, I hope. Alright, so no matter which, if you're ever having trouble figuring out why your eyes aren't looking the same, kind of start with this sphere and even maybe draw the grid lines out, and that'll help you kind of get the idea of where your eye needs to go. And again, I'm doing this really quick. If I was kind of working, you know, for on a finished product, it'd be a little more clean and not quite so quick here. So, excuse me. If you wanted to make this a woman's eye, generally women have bigger eyelashes than men, so you can kind of do these shapes. And to give them these eyelashes. You don't really want to draw the eyelashes individually, because especially when you get into a smaller drawing, or even if it's a bigger drawing, they look prettier as a mass shape, like this, than they would if you were to go in here and kind of do like this thing. So the mass and shape looks a lot better than these individual kind of lines. So that's kind of, I guess we can cover mouths a little bit here. Now keep in mind, this is more towards comic book artists, since that's kind of what I do. So if you're looking to draw realistically, there's other guys other videos I'm sure you can find to do that, but this is more just cartoon cartooning and comic kind of art rather than realistic eyes. It doesn't hurt to know how to do that, because that'll teach you how to do this kind of thing here a little bit better. It's something I've done before, something I know how to do. It's just something I don't enjoy doing too much. I'd rather do cartooning. So with a male, the mouth can be quite simply just these lines, these two lines like this, with a hint of a lower lip. And if you're close enough, you can even do a very thin upper lip. You don't want to do too big a mouth on a man. It kind of takes away from the power of what you're looking at. Now, that is to say, depending on who you're drawing, these rules are going to change a little bit. When drawing characters of different ethnicities or whatever, you do kind of have to fall into the word everybody hates, which is stereotypes, just to get your point across a little more clear. If you draw a man that looks white and then color him black, to me it just doesn't work, and vice versa. If you draw a black guy and then color him white, it just doesn't really work. And so you need to look up your reference, look at different ethnicities and races, and see kind of what are the platonic versions of that makes these people read as their certain race. Asian people generally have different shaped eyes than a white or black person. Black people generally have a smaller, broader nose, a little bit bigger lips, so on and so forth. The brow and forehead's a little bit different generally. So just look up a photo reference for all this, to kind of, depending on what you're drawing, to make sure that you understand what makes them easily identifiable, so that you can go and when you come to cartooning, things look as they should look. So again, back to the mouth here. This is a general straight on shot of a mouth. So if you had your nose here, that'd be your straight on. And again, if you're going to turn it, remember, always follow the curve of whatever angle your head's at there. And just kind of follow along. Men's mouths, again, are pretty simple. At least the way I do them, they're generally just lines with maybe an upper lip. So, and you can add some lines there to show a little bit more shape if you want. Women's mouths are a little more fun. Generally, the lips will come in, and you got kind of that middle part, and then they'll go back out. So you kind of get this W shape, this really wavy kind of, or I guess it's an M, an upside, kind of like a bird almost, I guess. Never thought of that. And depending on how plump you want the lips to be, they'll curve back out like so. And then you get this bottom lip like that. Now some women have a cleft in their lip, so you can kind of play off that if you want to make them look a little bit fuller. Now again, this is really quick, and I'm just kind of showing you kind of just the idea behind it. I'm accentuating some of this a little more than I should, just so you can really see the shape of what you're wanting. And you can push these as far or drop them down as slow as, or as subtle as you want, just depending on what you're looking for. So there's your woman's mouth, and if you're going to, again, if you're going to turn it sideways, erase that line just to kind of give me a guide. This part here is going to start in the middle, come up and down here. Now this side of the mouth is going to come down, but it's going to be very short, almost just a backwards L there. And where this I have it drawing curved here, since it's at that angle, it's disappearing. You're going to come back up like this, come around, give it that shape. Come around like that. So if you want to throw a cleft in there, you can, and there you go. You got the woman's kind of 3/4 mouth. So, I think that's gonna be it for now. Ears are pretty easy. You can, again, it's kind of the same as any face. No two people have the same ears, so you can really kind of just make it up. If you just start with a C shape, or in this case a backwards C, you got the inner ear. I always make kind of like this weird Y, like that. This will come down to meet. I don't even know the names of the parts of the ears. Sorry guys, but there's your ear canal there. So basically, this is just the basics. Like I said, kind of the human head 101. You can, always draw from life. Always keep studying. Always keep drawing, because this stuff doesn't come overnight. This is just practice after practice. So just remember, come back up to this guy here, get rid of that thing on his face. Like I said, the important thing to kind of take away from this lesson, the head's 5 eyes across, the nose is 1 eye down, half an eye to the mouth. Mouth lines up with the middle parts of the eyes. I think your chin is actually 1 eye down as well. 45-degree angle from your nose will give you your jaw here. And your eyes will line up with the top of your ears. And you can break these grids down even further. I know I've seen people will do this all the time. It's like you got the center, you got the brow, you got your eye, you got your nose, you got your mouth, you got your chin. Oh, you got your chin there. And some people will do this. For me, it's just kind of a very simple. I think this does it enough, at least for me, maybe for you guys, is just center line, and then 3/4 up is your brow line. So, I think I'll end it there. I've been kind of rambling on for a while now. So if you have any questions, if there's something that I didn't cover or needs a little bit further explanation, let me know in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. I'm going to keep going on with these, I hope. We'll see how this one turns out and see how you guys like it. And if you, after this stuff, go check out my other videos where I start kind of, I did a Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul headshot, I did Martian Manhunter. Basically any of them, you'll see me apply kind of this technique of starting with the circle, coming down for the chin, the circle on the side, the ear, the center line, and the brow line. You'll see me do that in pretty much every video where you see me start from scratch. Sometimes they're as loose as this one here. Sometimes I get a little more in-depth and tighter from there. So, like I said, this is just the basics. If you have any questions, if there's something I didn't cover or you're not quite getting, or I didn't explain very well, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr. The links will be in the description. Like I said, I'm going to try and do these maybe every couple weeks, maybe at least once a month for sure. I'm working on my graphic novel, so I don't know how much time I have to do this. So, again, give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you guys like this, and I will try and get more out to you. So, thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful, and we'll see you next time, guys. Bye.